Hey there, how's it going? Welcome to another episode. I know I've been a little bit out for the last weeks, but yeah, it's been busy, so that's my excuse. But I'm back. There's going to be a few more episodes that are short and hopefully interesting enough for you to, again, having interesting stuff to know and to think about and kind of improving your life quality for sure. So, this episode, I'm going to be talking about all the negativity that involves all the media, right? All news. Like, we need to understand the dynamics of the industry, the media industry. They're basically, as you may know, right, selling news for your attention, your time, right? The more time you spend with them, there's a fraction of this time that they're going to be advertising, and of course they win and they earn money from advertisement, right? That's why they need content to be engaging. And if you think about it, right, what we've evolved in a way that we need to survive, and in order to be survive, you need to be stay alert about the negative things, the things that can harm you. So we kind of wired towards always being engaged and alert about negative stuff, right? And of course, the media industry, they know that, right? Um, they need to be always to be talking about all the negative because they know that you're going to come back. Because if it was all positive, and sometimes I'm not just criticizing the industry in overall. Like there's enough people that they try to do their best, but most of the industry, they know that by selling or creating negative news, it's gonna make us, the audience, more engaged and more alert and stay coming back for more, right? They always dig down on the news that are negative because that creates engagement. And again, like the more engagement, the more time the audience stays with them, they're gonna earn a little bit of more money, right? And those are the dynamics. So having said that, like we need to be careful with this because all this news, all this content, it's going to affect us because it's going to increase our anxiety, right? And it makes us always to stay alert. And for us, we have this condition, right? It's called FOMO, right? The fear of missing out. So we need to stay on top of things. What's going on with this? What's going on with that? Always, it's a continuous thing, and in the end, it's gonna affect us. And it doesn't affect to everyone at the same level, but again, like it's tricky, and we should be careful because I'm not super old, I'm not super young, I'm middle aged, right? And when I talk to younger people, there's a there's a trend that I see, which is I see a lot of people very pessimistic, and that's not a reality. There are many things and good things happening, but of course, the media is not gonna make it like super popular in their channels and in their medium, right? Because it's not selling the same amount than the negative stuff. But it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. I understand why the media is selling negative stuff. They always try to do something, to balance it out a little bit with good news as well. But they're not in the business of selling good news, right? They are in the business of making us alert. But again, it doesn't mean that the world is all bad, because we're always going to get the bad stuff or the negative stuff. But there's really good stuff going on. For instance, I have this book by Tim Hartford. It's the 10 Rules to Comprehend the World, right? And one of the chapters, he talks about how we have improved by a lot the childhood mortality by the last 20, 15 years. It's been crazy how worldwide, for instance, he mentions one specific reason. There are many vaccines that were not available for 80% of the population under 1 year old, right? Meaning that the child mortality for not having these types of vaccines were causing a lot of deaths. And today, after 15, 20 years, the economics of vaccines have been improved and enough to bring that child mortality down to, now it's the opposite, like maybe 80% of the population can have a vaccine. So the childhood mortality is decreased by a lot. And that's only one example of the many of good things that are happening in the last 20, 15 years. And again, like normally when something bad happens is one specific event that it's gonna be super critical for a specific time, right? But the good stuff normally takes some time to get it fixed, and then it's boring, right? To continuously saying the same thing. Like imagine like having every day talking about how good the trend is going for child mortality. It's not gonna sell, right? And it's a really good thing, and that's why we don't get exposed to many of those things. Many of those things, it just happens. It seems that, oh, I got this really good news on the trend, but it's been going on for 20 years. But we haven't heard before because it's not, again, it's not valuable for the people that pushes these types of content, right? So just let's be careful with all that stuff, because again, the world, yes, have bad things and there are bad trends in specific fields and industries, and the world can be a better place. But it's been a better place for the last years in different dimensions. I just mentioned the childhood mortality. There's a lot of good stuff going on as well, right? And again, like even like social media, it's up to you if you use it to, get jealous and envious about different people, right? That they try to impose their lifestyles, and then we get kind of jealous, right? Or there's also like really good stuff going on in social media, like there's really interesting and innovative type of content that you can see from, I don't know, right now, top of my head, I saw someone from a really poor country, like with a lot of let's say open-mindedness and creativeness. They built up a Bugatti, the car, like a super expensive car. It was a replica made of like a really um, costless type of materials, right? So they built up a Bugatti out of a budget on a really poor country, and it looked really interesting and cool. I think it was an engine, a Toyota engine, below the hood of this um, car that it looked like a Bugatti. Like maybe you've typed it in, you'll see the video. It's really innovative, right? So there's a lot of good stuff going on, really inventive stuff, and it's up to us to get exposed to the good stuff versus the bad stuff. And going back to the how to fix ourselves in terms of getting exposed to the bad stuff or bad news. I'm sure that I talked about before about Nassim Taleb, right? The Black Swan author, and he says to fix you up in terms of reading the news every day, you just dedicate yourself to at least during a year, throughout a year, to read about news from last week. So you will see how impactful the news that were seemingly, I don't know, like causing the end of the world last week, after 1 week, that was not that, relevant for you. And again, I'm not trying to become or criticizing just for people to be more ignorant. Of course, we need to be exposed to relevant news, but we need to find some balance. I think it's been 2 years for me that I haven't been exposed as before. Before it was like 24/7, all the news from the news TV and also the news on paper, and it was kind of crazy as well. And I liked it really. I felt like I was knowledgeable a lot of stuff, and I don't feel less knowledgeable about the important stuff or relevant stuff today, and I'm not 24/7. I dedicate more focus and to work, and I think it impacts my performance at work and also with family and with friends. So, sometimes the bad news that go through the channels and the media, we just need to kind of take it in a different way and try to, again, balance it out. So I hopefully that was interesting for you as it was for me, and that will kind of give you a little bit more peace of mind when it comes to digesting news and yeah, and sleep hopefully a little bit better. So I guess I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for listening. Take care.